Live check. Check 1, 2. Check, check. I do believe we might be live. Hey, what's happening, everyone? Can you hear my voice okay? Hey, what's happening, Sky Tortoise Ferryman? What's happening, Lisa? What's happening, Sean? Is my voice coming through okay? I've just reset the audio interface here. Hear ya. Okay, fantastic. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's going to be a super casual stream today. We are going to be continuing to move forward on building the happy sounding track that we started a couple of weeks ago in the AKAI Force. I'm going to be looking for lots of collaboration from the chat today along the way. So get your collaborating shoes on, friends. I guess we're going to go ahead and just take a start by listening to what we've got currently. I've got some ideas for what we're going to maybe be able to add today. But as you know, for me personally, as I continue working on a track, I think the difficulty level gets a little bit, progressively steeper as we, close in on that finishing line. And since the finishing line is kind of the goal is kind of in sight, I don't want to sort of just, rush and hurry up and like finish the track. I want to, take this time to still, try to be creative. And work on some trial and error things today as well. I've got a couple of other pieces of gear out that we, may explore a little bit today. With this, let's go ahead and take a listen to what we've got so far. Hey, what's happening, PK? All right. Hey, what's happening, Eric? Thanks for tuning in. Uh-oh. Oh, well, this is not good. Why was that muted? Let me unmute that. Our synth lead was supposed to come in there. Yeah, cool. Oh, for a minute, I thought I deleted a track or something. All right, we got that back. I'm just going to go back a little bit before that flute lead comes in. Not sure why I saved with it muted, but it is what it is. All right. Hey, what's happening, Wall? Thanks for tuning in. Okay, this is sounding pretty good. I just want to catch up with you guys a little tiny bit about what I've done with this session during the week. It's actually been a really, really busy week, so I didn't have any time this week to explore like how to work in the arrangement mode of the Force. So we're just going to continue working in this kind of scene and clip mode today. Um, Let's see here. But what I did take the time to do this week is to go in and kind of polish up the clips on the matrix of this session. I've gone in and every single clip on every single track has now been given a name, and every single clip on every single track has been put to a uniform length of 8 bars. So I no longer have like any random 2 bar loops or 1 bar loops just kind of hanging around. Everything is completely been titled and made into 8 bars. That just makes it a little bit easier today as we're trying to, finalize these details for me to be able to like see if I want to copy existing, parts from existing tracks. I can see exactly, which parts are which parts. Okay, what I'd like to do today is when we were creating this last week, we sampled an arpeggio out of the virus Dark Star, which sounds a little bit to me kind of like a funky 70s like synth guitar line. I believe that's this one here. Yeah. If I solo that. It's a synthesizer, but to me it's kind of got that 70s wah guitar vibe, right? And so what I was hearing in my head was kind of that old school, like late 60s maybe, like Motown sounding guitar vibe, where the guitarist just kind of puts the chord on the snare, right? Obviously, it's not more of a bat, but more of a ring or whatever. So I thought that we would try first to see if maybe we could do that today. I've got my guitar out, but this is going to be a major, major disclaimer before we start messing with the guitar, in that I'm not a guitar player and I'm not going to be ripping out guitar solos or cool melodies on the guitar or anything like that. I'm a very, very basic guitar player. I can play some chords and whatnot. So we're going to see what you guys think about this sort of guitar stamp coming in on the sort of snare part in this section of the groove right here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take off my headphones for a moment here and get all strapped into the guitar. All right, guitar on a live stream. I don't know what I am thinking because I am not a guitarist, okay? Just want to put that out there again. But what let's do is go ahead and just see if this guitar is, in tune best I can. I've currently got it plugged into the Eventide H9 pedal. Just give me a second here. In fact, I think that if I go right into the, why are we not here? Okay, hold the phone here. I thought you guys would hear that, but it's not coming through. But that's okay. It's just tuning. It's nothing really special to hear per se. Just watching Synth Geek tuning guitar. Thank you for your patience, everyone. All right. Okay, I'm not sure why I'm not getting. There it is. Cool. So let's see here. I'm gonna play this groove, and I'm kind of just gonna, tap this guitar chord idea out, and you guys can let me know what you think. If you think that's something that we should record in and get in, or whether maybe it doesn't really gel. Just tell me what you think. I'm not in tune very well is the problem. Oh, and I've just changed the preset. Try this tuner some more, guys. Really basic on the snare. Does that sort of gel with the groove that we're creating? What do you guys think in the chat? If that's maybe something we should put in. We got a yes from Lisa, right on. As a guitarist, book guitar and electronic tracks, sometimes might have a time getting it to sit in. Yeah, I hear that for sure. The guitar is good. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's go ahead and just get this in. Just a really simple something that we could add here. Now I had it on a different preset. See if I can fix that. Yeah, cool. All right. Just a really clean, dry preset. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to play the groove and just record a few of these chord stabs, and we'll see if maybe we can like edit a few of these out, find like a couple magic ones if we get lucky, I've now armed the recorder, and I'm just going to, play along with the track for a little bit. I think actually that might have done it right there. Let me go ahead and label this. This is like a D major guitar 1. Fantastic. And we're going to keep that. Let's see here. If I go into the menu and we go into sample edit, D major guitar, how do these sound if we start trying to play these back? Yeah, I'm sure I can get something out of there. Cool. Let me take a moment and relieve myself of the weight of this guitar, and we'll get back to trying to edit those guitar samples. Now, something that I'm definitely keeping in mind along the way as we get closer to finishing this track is I don't want to just add a whole bunch of new sounds like at the end of the track that sort of like loses the consistency and the vibe of the track. So, I definitely want to just be aware of that like idea as I am, adding in new sounds to the track with the guitar and all that kind of stuff. But I figure since we already have like a real instrument type of sound in that flute, that the guitar, would probably be a welcome addition here as well. Let me go ahead and just make a couple of edits on that original guitar recording. And what let's do now is go ahead and duplicate that recording. Go over to copy, and we'll copy that. So now, in fact, let's just copy that one more time so that I can really freely edit these without fear of, losing any of those recordings, because now we have 3 versions of that recording. In fact, let's go ahead and save at this time with the Shift and Save command. Get this guitar pick out of the way. Okay, and let's take a listen to these here. I like that one right there. So I'm going to trim in on this one here. Start getting just this tiny little hit out. Whoops, I want to be here. Whoops, here rather. There we go. Just want to get right in on the beginning of that one and discard. Cool, I like the way that sounds. Let me go ahead and get this ending off of there as well. Process, discard. And let me just go ahead and fade out that tiny little bit of the end there as well. Fade out. That's just something that I do at the end of my samples to make sure that there's absolutely, positively no way that we can get any clicks or pops, you know, at the end of a sound. So there's basically our first chord, and I want to get a version of the variation of that chord as well, which is, I believe, these. Come on, whoops. Yeah, I like that last one right there, I think. So we're going to go ahead and start trimming this one out now. Process, discard, and I want to get right in there on the beginning of that. Yeah, maybe just take a tiny little bit more off of the beginning there. Fantastic. So we've got two different variations now of that chord stab right on. Let me just take the ending off of this as well, so we're not, you know, taking up extra sample time in the force here. Yeah, and let's go ahead and grab the very end of this as well and do that fade out. This isn't really like 100% necessary, but I still do it anyway because, you know, I'm anal and that's what I do, just to make sure that there's absolutely no possible way that we get clicks or pops. Now that I've edited those samples, let's go ahead and save again. And let me just take one moment and check in with the chat. Thanks for hanging out with me today, everyone. Hey, what's happening, Martin? All right. Let's go ahead and we're going to need to make a track in the force, I guess, to put these guitar samples on. So if we go back to the matrix here, I can grab another drum machine, and we can give this a name, and we can call this guitar samples. Cool. And let's just change that color from lemon to like something else. Cool. Okay, what we can do is we can go ahead and make a clip here to put the guitar hits on. Or rather, maybe we'll just, let's see here. I'm going to want to assign those to these pads first, I suppose. So we're going to go sample, and we're going to grab these. Okay, there it is, D major guitar 1. And we're going to grab D major guitar 2. And put that on the second one. All right, we're going to go to the mixer, and we're going to bring this track down in the mix a bit. And by default, you guessed it, we're going to put that parametric EQ on this track, just like I do with every other track. And we're going to open up that parametric EQ and just keep anything from, oh, I don't know, beneath about like 100 kilohertz of low frequency content. We're going to just shave that off. Maybe even a little bit more on these guitars, actually, maybe up to 200. Yeah, that sounds good. And what let's do right off the jump is do a little bit of creative panning on these guitar hits. Let's pan like the first hit, like just very subtly to the left, like 4. I mean, this goes all the way to 50, right? So this is really, really subtle. It's just getting the sound off of that middle point in the stereo field that our kick drum is, you know, always occupying. So tiny little bit left, tiny little bit to the right on these. In fact, let's bring these down in the mix a little bit more as well. Maybe. I want this to be really subtle. And I also think we're going to want more high pass on these to get rid of more low frequency content. I'm now going to go all the way up to about 400. Yeah, that sounds nice. What let's do is let's just tighten it up the tiniest little bit by putting a compressor on this. Let's go air compressor. And so this is just on these guitar samples. And I'm just going to mess with their default settings here. We're going to take the threshold all the way up. I like to compress at a ratio of 4:1. So we're going to go ahead and set that. Let's put the output back to normal. Release time, that all looks fine for now. I'm going to bring the threshold of this compressor down a tiny bit. This is going to activate the compressor on our sounds here. If I bring the threshold down on just enough so we're seeing the compressor take hold. I think our second sample might be a tiny bit too loud. Let's go ahead and turn that down. Yeah, it's a little loud still. Just trying to get those a little bit more even. All right. What let's do now is go ahead and just hit record. And yeah, here we go. I'm going to punch these in. And 2, 3, 4. I think that first one is a little loud still. Again, I just want to tuck these back in the mix. I'm not trying to create like, a big guitar, part of the track, but rather just a nice little accent that might, help sort of accent that synth guitar arpeggio. Let's see what this is sounding like now that I've brought the volumes back a bit. Yeah, that flute is more like a panpipe. I totally agree, Wall. How do you guys think the guitar is sounding? Did I tuck the guitar too far back in the mix, or is the guitar sounding okay? Just let me know in the chat, and I'm going to go ahead and save at this time. Cool. So we've got a tiny little bit of guitar added, so that's something that we did. The next thing that I kind of want to attempt to do is a lot more complicated than that. I'm definitely going to need a sip of coffee to get started. Okay. What I would like to try to do is to create a new section of the track that we can go into. We've basically built up the track. I have a part that I'm considering the sort of the chorus section, and we've played that chorus section now 2 times in the track. The last scene, the last collection of clips here that we have is what we're considering the sort of chorus of this track. It sounds like this. It's that, nice lead. Bum, 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 bum. Right? And this gets us back into that vibe that we had earlier in the beginning of the track when we introduced that chorus for the first time in the beginning. Same exact chorus scene. Now, in the initial arrangement, after the chorus plays the first time, we go into a scene that sounds like this. It's a drop for the flute to come in. So I don't think that we're going to do that. We're not going to bring the flute in per se. But if I were to mute the synth flute, we sort of have our bass line, our top line, which is those hi-hats and that clap. And boy, this is really like a daring thing to do on a live stream, I think, because I really have no idea if this kind of experiment is going to work or not, which is why we're going to continue pushing forward with it. What I'd like to do is I'd like to take all of the tracks that are currently playing in this with the synth flute muted, and I'd like to route them out of the external outputs 3 and 4 of the force. I'd like to route. Am I in the right camera? Yeah. I'd like to route. So I'd like to route all of what we're hearing into the Pioneer RMX-1000 and try to create a little bit of a variation of that we can resample into the AKAI and maybe chop up or whatnot and use that as a basis to create the next section that we're going to go into. Now the point of this would be to continue like sound designing and shuffling around the sounds that we've already got in the box and trying to create variations on that rather than just piling on more and more new sounds. if we can create, you know, variations out of the existing sounds, then the sort of consistency, in the track will be all that much more consistent. But this is, you know, definitely something that is, you know, in a, you know, trial and error kind of thing. This, you know, may or may not work, and we're going to go through this step by step. This is what I meant in the beginning. Like, we see that finish line, but we're not just going to, you know, race towards it and be like, hey, we're done, yay. We're going to, you know, take the time and experiment and have some fun along the way still. So I'm going to take an output here from 3 and 4 of the force of the external outputs, okay? So not the main output. We're done with this guitar pedal for now, so I'm going to move this out of the way for now. And I'm going to plug this into the input here of the RMX-1000. Whoops, suddenly I'm thinking I needed a different kind of cable, but I actually don't. Okay, that's fine too, because I have plenty over here that we can just grab. Fantastic. Here's some now. I'm not sure what that hiccup was with my thought process there, why I thought it was only RCAs. I don't know. It's both. Anyhow, here we go. So we're taking outputs 3 and 4, and I am routing them into inputs of the RMX. Okay, now we're not, this is also why I wanted to route this in real time, so that you guys can see that there's no special connections involved at all here. I just need one more cable. Come on. This is a little overkill, but this will work. Okay. So there's no special connection at all. There's no, we don't need this plugged into the input anymore. Okay. There's no, in fact, we can just borrow those cables. They're shorter. There's no MIDI connection or USB or anything like that. It is just audio. That's how the RMX works. It detects the tempo based on the audio that we feed it, and hopefully that will work today for us. And if it doesn't, or if it doesn't sound cool, then we'll chalk this up, you know, to trial and error and having fun along the way, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. All right. And 2 and 1. Okay. So we've got the external outputs of the force going in here and then going back in. Let me make sure that the sampler of the force, okay, so we should be able to hear that input. Now, let me switch cameras so I can show you guys, or check in with the chat, maybe see if there's any questions before I forget. What's happening, Tabsy? All right. Thanks for tuning in, Russ. Hey, guys. All right. Hey, what's happening? Original Synth in the house. Hey, thanks for tuning in. What's the ancient? Yeah, right? I know, right? I'm really not a guitar player. Don't hold that against me, you guys. Okay. Excuse me. So what I need to do is we need to go back to the mixer, and then on all the tracks, I'm going to turn this down a little on this scene so I'm not, you know, yelling over the music. I just need to turn all of the inputs and outputs of the tracks that are playing onto outputs 3 and 4 instead of outputs 1 and 2. So it's the effects and the synth flute, no, because we took that off. In fact, we can probably just mute these effects for now as well, because we can put that in after the fact. So this is just our tops. Let me put this out through 3 and 4 as well. Is that all I need to do, really? Whoa, sorry about that, everyone. Trying to manage these volumes in real time is a little bit difficult sometimes. Okay, but now the sounds that we are hearing are being run through the RMX-1000 currently. And if I go back to the menu and go back to the sampler, we can see that they're coming into the sampler here, and we can also see that's why it was so loud, because we are sending too hot of a level here into the force for sure. Alright, so I'm just going to turn that down so that we get less of a level going into the force. Turn the force's volume up to compensate for all this stuff. All right, now we're getting there. All right. So again, what we're hearing is being processed now through the RMX-1000. Just want to turn these down the tiniest bit more. I'm still clipping on that roll. All right, that's looking better. Okay. So we have effects inside of the RMX 1000, and that's sort of my intention today, is to see if we can, create a variation of what we're hearing now. Let's see what we can do here. We sort of taken the transients off of the sound with this effect. I don't really care for that. What else do we have? The bass is still playing in the background. It doesn't seem to be sticking to this. Let's find out what's up with that. I need to... the bass is coming out of 3 and 4. What if I were to just mute the bass and just leave these tops here? I'm trying to listen to these like sounds as for anything, for any little sections of what I'm hearing that I might be able to sample and then get into the track. Okay, and I kind of like what we're hearing right here, and I'm thinking maybe if I just grab like a version of these that we could use these for transitions and fills and for creating our own drum rolls and stuff inside of the Force. So I'm going to go ahead and sample a little bit of this type of stuff here. And we're going to go to the menu or bring the volume back up again so you guys can hear what we're doing. I'm just going to start sampling, and I'm going to tweak these knobs a little bit here. Cool. Let's see here if I stop what we're playing, and this is now, let's call this snare, let's call this snare rolls 1. And let's keep that. Fantastic. Now I can go into the menu and let's see. Can you guys hear my voice okay today? Let's go to sample edit. And then here we have that recording of those snare rolls. Let's go ahead and process this and turn it into a couple of samples. That way I can, edit it freely without worry that I'm going to lose the original, recording. I'm just going to maybe copy this twice actually, so that we've got 3 different versions of it, and I can really chop it up now. Yeah, I want just that right there. So I'm gonna zoom in a bit and start trimming just that little hit out, right? Yeah. Trying to decide if I want the back, because it's sort of like a dual hit here. Don't that. And I'm trying to decide if I want that or if we want to just like really get in there and just get that little tiny. And I think for now, yeah, I really like that. So we're going to do that. We're going to start trimming out just that little tiny hit there that we've created. We're going to start zooming in on the very beginning of this one. So you see how we've used some external gear now to create an extra sound that we can use in our mix. However, we sound designed it, for lack of a better, way to say that, in that, we created it from something that was already existing in our session, rather than adding something new completely. Let's go ahead and fade out on that tiny little end point there. And now we've got this, let's see here. This really cool little variation of our, snare or whatever. And what I can do is I can rename this, and we can call this like, let's see, fill snare 1, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and try to make yet another little chop out of what we recorded here. I don't remember what we, there we go, snare rolls. Okay, so that's why we, named them, copied them rather, a minute ago so that we could just start trimming them out. I'm going to do that one more time even so that I just make sure that there's no possible chance that, because I'm going to make a few different more, variations. Okay, let's go ahead and, so we got that one hit. What happens if we just get this tiny little hit here? What is that? Whoops. Yeah, love it. Okay, so let's trim that out now. And we've got a little more. Yeah, awesome. We're going to process and we're going to bring the volume up on this new hit a little bit. Oh, I don't know, maybe like 7. Awesome. Okay. Do you see how we're, literally creating new sounds now out of this? I mean, they're not, brand new sounds, but rather they're like variations of the sounds that we already had in the mix. Like this was our existing hi-hat already, right? I'm just going to trim this tiny little hit off the end, I think. Process, discard. Whoops, I did that wrong. Undo. Start and end. Come on. Why is it? What am I doing wrong here? I'm not really sure. Okay, well, let's leave it and then do a fade out instead. Cool, let's do that a couple more times because I want to really, really clean at the end. All right, I think that'll get what I need here. Fantastic, and now we've got sort of a hi-hat glitch sound here. I'm going to go ahead and relabel this to hi-hat glitchy. Cool. And let's go, let's see, back to those snare rolls here, and let's see what we've got. If we've got anything else that maybe we could grab. What are these 3 little hits right in there? Maybe we could grab a different version of our clap that's been put through the RMX. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and discard and start trimming this out. And get right in and process and discard. All right, let's do a fade out at the end of that. This is basically just getting us another version, per se, of our clap and snare combo that are like 2 different sounds playing together. Now we sort of have another variation where they're baked into one sample. Let me go ahead and bring the volume on this sample up a tiny little bit as well. Cool. Fantastic. So what we've got then is like 3 different sounds to start working with now. Let's go ahead and save at this time. And let me check in with the chat as well. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I appreciate you being here. All right. Yeah, the thing about the RMX-1000 is that it's not for us. This is for working professional DJs. You know what I'm saying? Who are like getting paid to do gigs. Okay, it's an effects box specifically aimed at DJs. There isn't anything else comparable to it on the market. It is very pricey. Um, but it is what it is. We're really not utilizing it like in any way for what it actually does. Basically you put it at the end of your chain, and then you can sort of remix the stuff that you're DJing or playing back in real time. We're just using it today as a creative effects processor. It's certainly not for everyone, but like I said last week, rather than just only focusing on working in the box, I have a room full of gear, so we're gonna, use the gear and try to play around with the toys and experiment and stuff. But definitely, it is a very expensive box, and it's not for everyone for sure. It's really aimed at professional DJs, who are like touring and getting paid. It's an essential tool for people like that. Okay, cool. So let me go back to the overhead view here, and let me take a look at our tracks. We got our guitar sample. What I think we can do then is maybe we can put these new sounds that we've just created, maybe we can put those on the tops channel, or instead of bringing in a brand new track? Let's find out. But the first thing I'll need to do is change the outputs all back to the original output now of 1 and 2, so that everything is just coming out of the main master outs, and we're no longer running anything through the RMX-1000, but it is still connected. So at any time, I can route any of these tracks out through this box if we want to try to resample something else creatively today. Let's see, I've got the bass muted. Let me unmute that. I've got the synth, flute, pan flute, whatever, muted. Let's unmute that. And then let's save again now that I fixed the routing. Okay. Let's take a listen to, let's see, where are we at here? And what I want to do is we want to start creating the next section. Okay, let me go ahead and assign these samples that we just created first. Let's go edit and put the samples on these top pads here. Not exactly sure what we labeled every single one, so let's find these. Okay, the first one was that fill snare. All right, and then the next one was that hi-hat glitchy. Was the hi-hat glitchy, rather. That's funny. And then we also have, what was like a resample of our clap? Was it, I can't remember if I, what did I call that? I was pretty sure I got us a third variation. Am I mistaken? Or did I maybe just not label that third variation? Yeah, I didn't label it. Let's just label that now so that doesn't get confusing to me much later on. Sample edit, and it's not actually snare rolls 3 anymore, but this is really more of a resample of, of these two sounds. So this is like it's a clap resample, basically. Let's call it that. Clap resample. I don't know if you guys can hear the difference already, but, these have this huge amount of reverb on them, and this is like very much a dry sound. So we've got a little, unless I, were to put a bunch of reverb on it at this time. Cool. So now we've got those new sounds maybe that we could start working with inside of like a new clip here to come after our chorus. What let's do is let's go ahead and just grab the main kick. Let's see if I can I got everything labeled, which makes it a lot easier, which is why I was saying that at the beginning, which makes it a lot easier for me to just, copy a clip and then stick it where I need it. I'm just grabbing the main kick, loop, and I'm using that to start a brand new section from scratch here. What we're going to do is we're going to go, maybe let's take our bass variation. We have a variation of the bass here. Let's put that in, and let's see with our kick and our bass variation, like what we're starting to build here. Okay, so what we can do now is go ahead and go over to our tops. Oh, forget it. Okay, hold the phone. That's dope already. We got variations happening here. That's what I'm after. What I want to do then is create a new clip for the tops, and I want to launch that so it's playing at the same, rate as the other clips. It's already an 8-bar clip. Let's just go ahead and record. All right, here we go. In 1, 2, in 1, 2, let's go. I don't think I'm doing that what I had in mind, actually. So let's stop and undo and see if I can find that groove I had originally. Do I want the short one first? Or hold on. We could do like 3 and then a 1. I kind of like that. Let's record that in and see how it sounds. In 1, 2, 3, here we go. Now we've got a little bit of a variation now. I think our new clap sound is a little loud. This one here, yeah, maybe a little loud. And also I'd like to put an EQ on it. So we're going to go ahead and put the parametric EQ on it. You guessed it. It's going to remove any low frequencies beneath about 50 hertz on this one here. Kind of seeing what other sounds that we have instantly available to us. There's a snare that I loaded and we never used. So yeah, again, these new sounds that we've added don't have a whole bunch of like delay and reverb like our existing sounds, which is a neat thing because it kind of tightens up this pattern. But I think I would like to give these sounds a tiny little bit of the existing reverb and delay just to kind of get them in the door of the sort of acoustic space that we're creating inside of the Force here. Like I'm talking very little, like 2 cents, like you can barely, yeah, just enough to barely get them in the mix, right? But I have this clap on the offbeat. Yeah, I still don't think this is quite right. Let me go back and, yeah, let's delete these. I'm going to go shift and, whoops. Somebody came up with a great way to do this last week, and I've already forgotten what it was. So I'm just going to go the quick way here, and we're just going to delete these. I feel like I created a halftime groove, and we really want not a halftime beat here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these in again in a not halftime fashion. Yeah, okay, here we go. Okay, I want to put the other one first, rather not that one. Okay, so let's get rid of that one and try again. Here we go. Whoops. This is what I want, yeah. Now we keep the tempo the same. Got to get rid of that extra snare still. All right, let's do that. But that halftime wasn't exactly working. It wasn't quite what I had in mind. So now that I've fixed the tempo of this groove, let's go ahead and save at this time. And what I'd like to do, I think, is start hearing this in context so I can, hear how I'm going to need to work this transition between these two sections. Let's see here. We've also got a pad going in the chorus. What if we were to copy that down to this section here? What happens? No. I don't want that here. Let's go ahead and delete that. We've got that lead. We don't want that here. We do have these effects. So this is basically just like crashes and the riser effects and whatnot. Let's go ahead and copy down the noise crash into this section as well, so we get that impact crash on the downbeat. Or not. What happened there? I copied the wrong one. Okay, no worries. We'll copy the right one. Or no, I have it muted. Yeah, I had that track muted. No worries. Cool. All right. So I like the way that this is sounding. I think I want to do a tiny little bit of editing on this hi-hat here. I just want to put, you guessed, a parametric EQ on it and remove any low frequencies beneath about 500 hertz so that it's just a little bit, yeah, there we go, just a little bit cleaner sounding. Perfect. So this section is kind of turning into a little bit of more like a glitchy percussive section, and I'm really vibing that. I have quite a few notes that I wrote down about like maybe things we could try to do, and one of them is the second drum fill that we added last week. I believe has like some tom sounds in it. And I was thinking maybe we could trim out some of those tom sounds and then use them as individual percussion sounds to keep building up new grooves, like maybe what we're working on here. So let's try that. Let me go into the menu and let's bring up our, let's go to the sample edit page and let's find our drum fills. Let's see here. Drum fill A, drum fill 2. I think it's this one here. Yeah, I do believe it's this one here. Let's find out. Nope. There we go. There's some tom sounds here, and I think we might be able to trim one or two of these sounds out and then bring them, back into the groove. Let's see if we can do that. We're going to go ahead and need to copy this into some new sounds first, and we're going to call this like bonus toms 1, okay, and do it. And then we're going to pick that sample, bonus toms 1, and we're going to copy that into a couple more, empty samples. That way, as I start chopping this up, there's no way that we screw anything up. Let's go ahead and see if we can't chop out that really obvious looking big tom sound right here. We're going to go process and discard, and then just sort of start zooming in on the absolute beginning of that sound here. There we go. That looks pretty good. Process and discard. Cool. Now we just need to get rid of that little tiny bit at the end there. Process and discard. It's doing that weird thing again. I'm not sure what that is. What am I doing? Oh, is it maybe because I need to do that instead? I just needed to do delete instead of discard. Okay, so let's fade out that tiny little end section of this tom sample so that it's really clean sounding at the end. And hear it. Fantastic. Now we've got this bonus tom that we can work with. Let me go ahead and check the other one here, and let's listen to some of these other sounds that are sort of contained in this drum fill. There's another one right at the end there, and that's definitely like a different tone on that tom. Let me go ahead and start trimming this out, and let's see if we can't have two new toms. Maybe we can add these into the beat that we're starting up here in this new section. I want to trim that right at the beginning of the sample, process and discard. Fantastic. And let's get all zoomed out there and fade out just the very end of this again like we did with the other one. Fantastic. And let's hear it. Sounds good. Okay. Let's see. I think I can bring those in to our tops track. There's a couple of empty pads here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go edit, and let's put the bonus tom 1, yeah, here, and we'll put the other one here. It'd be, better if we could have them right next to each other, but it is what it is. Cool. So now we've got a couple of drum sounds that, even though they're, now sort of like new sounds that we can use, they're not necessarily new sounds, because the listener has already heard these sounds inside of that tom fill. Let me play this groove and see if there's any way that we might be able to get lucky and add a little bit of tom to this groove. There's yeah, I like that. Just something really, I also was really thinking heavily when I was putting the timestamps in for last week's live stream when we were working on this, I was thinking really a lot as to what genre did this kind of feel most like. I don't think it really like just instantly screams out a genre, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought disco. I think there's a lot of elements of disco in this track specifically. So chopping out these toms and getting it a little bit more toms, that's disco all the way. So I think that's something, that we should definitely, get in here. All right. Yeah, because it kind of has that disco feel to it. I'm liking this. Let's record that in. I put too many in. 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 2, 3. Cool. I want to take those first ones out because it's a little bit intense, maybe, too many. And let's go ahead and just remove, let's remove those, delete. Oh, I see, it's that one way up there, up here. Tom, yeah, it's this one here, and shift and delete. Rest, done, done. Fantastic. Okay, so that second tom kind of hits with the snare and accents that I really like the way this is sounding. Let's do a little bit of finesse on these new tom sounds though, shall we? Let's do the thing we do where we pan them off the center a little bit. Let's pan our tom 1, 10 to the left, and let's pan our tom 2, 10 to the right. Then let's go into these and give them a little bit of our built-in delay and reverb that we have in the mix on our synths, so that, they're in the acoustic space that we've created in the Force. We're just going to give these a little tiny bit of our reverb and delay synths. Yeah, just a tiny little bit. So now you can kind of hear the effects that they're just in the mix a little bit. Let's go ahead and save at this time as well. And let me take 1 second and check in with the chat, see if there's any questions. Looks like we've been going for just about an hour. Thanks for your patience and hanging out, everyone. What's happening, Connor? That's a great question, Original Synth. And Original Synth is asking, what audio interface would I want to use with the Force if they implement that in the next update like they have with the MPC Live? I imagine, that they're going to implement that stuff to where the Force would be a class-compliant USB audio interface, but I don't really have any desire to use it that way. And what I would be curious about is what you want to use it that way for, just to have external control over the audio via a mixer, or what would, because for instance, can't really see it so well, but what I'm running under the desk here is a 22 channel Soundcraft mixer, and it is USB class compliant, so I can plug this into the MPC Live, and I could route the audio so that I would have physical control over the audio via this mixer. But to be honest with you, I don't really see any benefit to doing that. I'd rather just do it all inside of the box. So if they implement that with the Force, I don't really think that I'll be connecting it up with an external mixer, unless somebody shows me a benefit to that maybe I'm missing at this time. But I find the mixer inside of the MPC Live and inside of the Force really does everything I need to do. So I haven't experimented at all with plugging my large mixer into the MPC Live, for example. Okay, so we got those toms in and we're building up groove. Cool. Oh, I like that. Original synth with the hand claps. Yeah, I like it. Well, we've already sampled these in, and they're different variations. So I think we're going to go with these for right here. But I think maybe this might be a nice opportunity to kind of pick up not the tempo, but the way that the tempo feels to the listener by adding in that extra metallic high percussion ride cymbal to sort of ding, 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 kind of push the momentum of this section. We do have one extra pad available on the tops track here without adding any new tracks or being, weird. Let's go ahead and see if we can do that at this time. Shift and save rather. Okay, what I'm going to do, I think, is just play the groove and then just maybe start searching through some of my samples on the box and see if we can find a ride cymbal that sort of gels with the groove that we're creating right here. Whoops. Let's find out. want to put something here on this pad. So if I just go to load, I can go turn the volume down just a little bit while we're browsing here. There we go. We got a folder for Electronisounds. And I'm just going to do this the really simple way and open up my reflective sample pack, which has drums, and cymbals, and rides. Ooh. Bring the volume up a little better while we're previewing these. Ooh, there's a nice bell there. It's not really what I'm after though. If any, maybe that one. I'm really not sure though. No. But what if we change the pitch? Just checking. Whoops. Here. No, that's not really the vibe I want. So let's find it. Instead, maybe we'll go to my Digitac packs. Got a lo-fi dub pack in here that has some rides at the end. Whoops. Come on now. There we go. It's not that one. No. 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 Maybe that one. Maybe. Really high frequency though. Maybe not that one. This one. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. Let's see here. Wait a minute. It's way too loud. So let me bring the volume down a little bit so we can hear it in the mix a little better. And I'm going to pan it a little bit to the right. Tuning it a little here. I think here is going to work. And I'm going to also put the parametric EQ on it, and we're going to remove any low frequency content that may be hiding out beneath about 600 hertz here. Fantastic. And then we're just going to put it into the sort of acoustic space of our mix by giving it, I mean, the tiniest amount. I'm putting 2 on the reverb and delay send. Just, I mean, you won't even really hear it, just the tiniest amount, right? And we're going to go ahead and save at this time. Now I think I'll just tap in just like an 8th note ride part here. Let's see. Yeah. Record. I'm gonna, yeah, okay, cool. 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3. Let's go. Okay, now we can really hear that in the mix. It's definitely too loud. And I also want to do a little bit more of EQing on that guy. Let's bring it up here. Just taming a little bit of the high frequency content on that ride for us. Let's see here. I'm going to play the scene before it again so I can kind of get a vibe for what, you know, that transition is going to feel like. Our chorus vibe here. That ride is still too loud, but the groove is starting to come together for sure. All right. And maybe we could add those guitar hits that we recorded in this little section here, because that's kind of a disco vibe. Let's see what that sounds like if we just copy those down. Let's see, where is that guitar? There it is, guitar sample. If I go back into launch mode here, we go copy and put it here. Let's find out. No, I don't really like the way that sounds, so let's delete that. What I'm trying to do, you know, is to see if we can, at this point, because we have our existing bass that the listeners are already familiar with, we've added a couple of new drum sounds, and we've added that new ride. So I'm trying to see now if we can bring in, you know, again, some of the other sounds that we've already got in the mix, maybe use them in a different way or not, just to see what sounds good. This is definitely part of the trial and error, just seeing what works. Let's see here. We've got that virus ARP, which is that guitar ARP, which we've kind of heavily used there. Let's see. We also have that arpeggio 1 that we bring in one time only, and it sounds good when we bring it in, but then we take it out, and then we never did get back to that sound. Might be nice if we could do that. Probably not going to work to have a full-on arpeggio just blaring away here, but you never know. So let's just see what happens if I pop that in. Okay, I don't really, you know, like it with that main ARP, but there's nothing wrong with the sound itself, for example, though. So I wonder if we could maybe use that same sound, but to put in like a new part entirely, maybe. Oh my goodness. How do you guys think that's working or not working? I have to find the right part, but I think the timbre is maybe okay here. I'm not quite playing it the way that it needs to be played yet. 2, 3, 4. Do you guys like the way that the sound is at all? Like the mono synth working, but something less frenetic. Let's see, about a lower octave, maybe? Maybe that's too low? Is this... Do we want to start in that octave? Or do we want to start in a higher octave? It's a mono sound, so I can't play chords with it, for example. But I could do a nice slow. Or we could do it in a higher octave. Higher octave or lower octave? What do you think in the chat, guys? It needs to go ooh instead of ah. Well, I can't really. We've already used the sound itself. The higher one. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to do what I usually do. Just to record and hope we get lucky. Nope, that's not even close. So we didn't get lucky that time. Let's try again. Let's see here. I'm gonna rather not record, but just play the clip again. Maybe I can do it in sections. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see what I want to do. I'm gonna dun 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 dun. 2, 3, and too simple, maybe? Yeah, I don't quite have it yet. Let's undo that and try again. I feel like maybe the sound is a little loud in the mix, but we can adjust that, you know, once I get a part in. Not quite what I want still. We'll definitely get there. Let me take it off record. Maybe we need to go down instead of up. Let's find out. Closer, I feel, but still not quite right. Stick to 4 notes. 4 notes only? Definitely got some wrong notes in there, and I'm not sure how that's vibing, and I know the volume is way too loud on that, but if I turn the volume down on the track, then when our arpeggio comes in the first time, it will be too quiet. So we have a few options as to how we can deal with this part being too loud. We'll probably just resample it and put it on a different track at a different volume once I figure out if the notes are actually what I want. Because I'm pretty sure I had some off notes in there, and I'm not sure if it's, you know, what we want. Let's find out. Oh, I see. It's putting in chords because even though it's a mono sound, it thinks that we are in chord mode. If I go shift and note, yeah, it's on that harmonize mode. So if I go back to scales mode, okay, this actually is maybe why it wasn't sounding so awesome. It was trying to play chords because of user error, because I messed up and I had it in this harmonize mode instead of the scales mode. So let's go back here. I'm going to let's grab all this stuff here, and let's just delete this for now. And all right. Get rid of these notes here at the end, shift and delete. Now I think we might be a little bit better. Let's see here. All right. Thanks for your patience, everyone. 3, 4, 2, 2. Let's get lucky. want, though. That's not it. This is the thing about, you know, writing and creating in real time. You know, I don't know if you guys know exactly what you want and hit record and then pop it in and then, you know, keep writing your track, but I just don't work that way. And so when I'm, you know, doing these streams and we're right, I know I do this a lot every week, but I want to explain for people who aren't, you know, around every week that this is how I write. And as the tracks, you know, continue to get longer and more robust, the writing process gets a little more difficult and a little more difficult for me as we, you know, progress along the way. And I don't want to just, you know, put something in that I'm not happy with because we're trying to move quickly on these live streams. So I'm going to take my time and keep plucking away at this until I get something that we think sounds good. You know what I'm saying? Let's try again. We were almost there a couple of times, just not quite, so I'm sure we can get there. I hit the wrong note again. So these pads are a little bit small for me. I mean, I'm used to those larger pads from like the MPC and stuff. So sometimes I, you know, hit the wrong notes. Really going to focus on not hitting the wrong notes this time, and we'll see what happens. Isn't doing what I want. It's just not quite, it's just so close. But like, I'm like this, my brain is telling me like, you're this close to like Disneyland's Electric Light Parade cheese level. And I kind of want to maybe back off a little bit from the Electric Light Parade level of cheese, if you guys know what I mean. So what let's do is let's go ahead and delete what I was trying to do there, and like, let me try to do something else rather instead. Let's take a look at our chord pad track and see if maybe something from that is working for me a little bit more, maybe. Let's find out. So this, we do actually want to be on the harmonized mode, right? Yeah. Yeah, right. Okay. We don't want to go really high then. Oh, I don't have a clip yet? Okay, let's make a clip here then. And let's make sure that we are armed for recording. Maybe just a really simple pad here to sort of fill in the space, and then that might give me the vibe to put something over that. Let's see what happens. Yeah, something really simple with the chords, I think, to flesh it out. This will work. And here we go. No, it's still not. I'm still trying to overplay it. I really need to keep this simple, so that we have room for the other sound to do, you know, more melodic stuff that we can maybe layer over this. All right, let's try that one more time. Now, oh my gosh, I'm in the wrong octave. I want to be in the lower octave. All right, let me undo that one more time. This is why I don't often write finished music on these live streams, because it gets more and more tedious as we continue. think I want that last note to be down still. Yeah, I want these last 3 notes to be down. I mean, whoops. Let me do this correctly here. Let me get rid of those. I just want to take these same exact 3 that are here and go duplicate. Cool. Then we can just nudge them over to the very end there. All right, cool. What do you guys think about that? Just a really simple pad that we can then hopefully put something over. Is that sounding okay? Yeah, I don't really know how to change the notes between legato and staccato and all that stuff. I'm still really just like a very simple, user. And again, if we're using something that we've already used in the track, if I make changes to this now, then it makes changes, to what we've already, got in here. Let me go ahead and hear these 2 scenes now back to back. Our chorus going into this new scene with that new pad. In fact, let me label that new pad real fast. Clip, and this is clip, and this is like variation 2, I believe. Variation 2, cool. And yeah, so let's just hear that clip of the chorus then going into our new scene of what we're creating here. See how that actual transition is working. Because we're making kind of a stark change here. It works, but I think that we need still more of a rest is the thing. So what we could do is to take a look at the individual parts that are playing in that chorus scene before we move into the new scene and see if I can take anything away from like right before the transition happens. We're just working on polishing the transition between what we had before and what I'm trying to put in now. Yeah. So the first thing we can do is take out that very last note here to give a tiny little bit of a rest there, because the lead sound is actually not continuing on in the next section, so we don't need to kind of push into it, for example. Okay, so there's one tiny little thing that'll help, and then let's see, go to the kick track here and go to this. It's already a bit of a rest there, and that's good. If we go to our tops track and check out that clip, there's a rest there. That's good. Fantastic. Let's go back here and check out our bass. Yeah, as we put a tiny little bit of room here at the end for us to remove a few notes and make that transition a little cleaner. Just going to listen to the bass line here and see what we can remove, hopefully, for like a rest there. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we can get rid of this entire last bar of notes here and then just have a complete rest there. And let's just see if we can do that. I believe this will give us a tiny little bit more space in that last bar for the listener's sort of ears to clear out. So when we introduce the new pattern, it really feels like we're pushing forward again and sort of makes sense to the listener. Okay, did we explore everything there? I don't think we explored this pad. Is there a way that we can maybe, nope, there's already a nice rest there. And I believe we did explore that lead, yep. And just to make sure there's nothing else that we can, nope. Okay, cool deal. Let's listen to the transition again here. Yeah, see how we gave that little bit of a rest there, and then the transition feels a lot smoother. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Shift and save, and still audible video. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how to go back in here and make like adjustments to portamento, to glide, to any of that stuff that won't affect what that sound is doing like previously. And I don't really have a lot of experience like playing around with the actual controls of the internal synths. This is actually the first track that I've made where we're using any of the external stuff. Everything that I've done in the AKAI before this was all done by just sampling my own sounds into it. So I can't really just get in there and go, oh, more staccato, like no problem. That would certainly take some time and fiddling around and guesswork and trial and error and all that kind of stuff, just because I don't have the experience with the box like that yet. But what let's do is, now that the transition is working a little bit smoother and our groove is starting to, our new groove per se is starting to be built up. Sometimes it takes a little bit of extra time when we're trying to build like the next section from scratch rather than just copying, pieces that are already existing in the track. So, we definitely spent a little more time, trying to get or trying to build this groove up per se. I still think we want to try to add something else from, if we can, that's existing in the track to this new section. Let's see if we can get anything else in here at all. Like, for instance, we could try to write a new lead part with our lead sound. Or we could go back to that arpeggio now that the pad is in. Oh, I see, right. I'm on that chord mode again. So I need to go back to scales mode. So our lead sound, certainly works here. I just can't really decide if I want to, I don't know, for lack of a better way to say it, I don't know if I want to put it in or not here. What do you guys think? Is it time for like another melody with this sound? This is the sound that we've been using as like our main lead sound, aside from that synth flute. Should I figure out sort of a lead that we can do in this section with this sound? Maybe a little arp? Maybe a little arp with this sound. What happens if we turn the arpeggio mode on with this sound? I know it's too loud, but we could resample that out, It's got kind of a tail on it that's a little bit excessive, maybe for an arpeggio. More of a ring out sound. I think that the timbre sort of is working. We've already got, this sound in the mix and all. I'm going to go ahead and just put in a clip here, double tap to put in a clip for the lead. I'm just going to play and record and see if I can't maybe just punch in a simple lead melody that will work in this part. Yeah, maybe use this octave here, the fourth one up. Let's see what happens. Sure about that one. Sort of close. No, it's just not quite right. Okay, let's undo that and try again. Oh, come on. I think that's it. I've got a wrong note in there, but we can fix that. Yeah, I think that's going to actually work. It's not so busy, you know, that it becomes like a main focal point of like a lead sound. We just want like another little melodic thing to keep the listener interested, for say. I'm going to go ahead and save at this time. And let's see here. So we've gone out of our second chorus and we've gone into kind of like a new groove here. And let's see, we've got the synth flute, our original ARP, we've got that drum fill. We did bring in some chords there. And then, in fact, oh no, we created a new variation there, so no worries. Okay, fantastic. Let's see here. I think what we're going to do is what I forgot to do last week, actually. It's at the beginning of last week's stream. I was talking about maybe sampling some vocal samples out of the iPad using the Blocs Wave app. The thing is that our track is in the key of D major, and the Blocs Wave app is only in the key of minor. You can do C minor, C sharp minor, D minor, F minor, all of that. But it doesn't tune to major. But if you think about it, the human voice is just a mono signal. It can't sing more than one note at a time. So I scrolled through like hundreds of vocal samples and found a few vocal samples that are definitely in key with the track that we're working on. And the question just becomes, do we want to include some of these vocal samples in the groove? So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on Ableton Link Sync in the Force. And we're going to turn on, it's already turned on here in Blocs Wave. So now these are synced. The iPad is wirelessly synced up using Ableton Link to the Force. I've got, see, the iPad is running through an audio interface. In the audio interface, we just need to plug in, let's see here, is this 2? Yeah. We just need to go ahead and plug this into the Force now, so that we can hear the iPad. All right. And this is going to be, you know, personal preference. I'm just looking for your opinions. We're just going to play some of these samples like one at a time, and we're going to decide together, do we want to sample that in and try to put it in the track somewhere? The thing with what I found here, though, is like they're basically just oohs and ahs, you know. You can't find like a whole vocal line that's sung like in a minor key and then slot that into something you're making in a major key. It just sounds a little off. So these are kind of like, you know, really simple and pedestrian vocal samples that we can listen to here. Okay, fantastic. Let's see. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna get these going, and we're gonna just decide, like, does that work? I haven't heard these in over a week now, so I mean, they may be, you know, horrible. Let's find out. Let me go back to the matrix mode. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and see what happens here. Oops. Here we go. So what we have here, whoops. That little laugh, like I wouldn't sample that, but that little yep, I could sample and use as like part of a turnaround, as part of a transition. Just the yep part. It's nothing really special, but it works like as a turnaround, you know. I don't know if you guys like that yep at all. Yeah, no. You there's no way that you're gonna be able to take a vocal from a minor key. There's no way you're gonna like just change some notes in the fourths and get that in. It's not gonna happen, and it's gonna sound terrible. I would really advise you not to try to take a vocal from a minor key and put it into a song with a major key, unless you're working with complex tools in Ableton, like Antares Auto Tune or Melodyne, you know, something like that. That's really a vocal tool. Formant control and all that nonsense. Okay, so do we want to maybe sample that little yup? I have some other stuff, you know. What do you guys think in the chat? Yup to the yup, not yup for me. All right, no on the yup. Okay, fantastic. We've got another. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more possible vocals. Let's check them out. All right, here's the second one. This is awesome. I love that we're kind of collabing with this. So that's definitely in key with our song, but it certainly has like its own vibe, you know? And it's just an oh, that's all it is. But something like that, you know, we could put in on like a downbeat here and there if we wanted to. What do you guys think? Something to put on a downbeat or not, or skip it? Not all the time, just like once in a while, you know? Just like a one shot. You guys like that one, or should we skip it? We don't need to add any of these vocals in. It's just trial and error, you know? We got one for try it. We got 2 for try it. All right. Let's go ahead and just start sampling a few of these vocals in here. It doesn't mean that we're going to use every single one or that we'll use them a lot or anything like that. But let's go ahead and then just record that very first, this one here. And I'm going to, let's see, we're going to, how's the volume on this? Pretty good, it looks like. Fantastic. And I'm just going to literally label this, you know, let's say Vox. And I like to put like a number after things in case I, you know, have another vocal sample or something. So we're going to call that Vox 1, and we're going to keep that. Then let's just go into the menu real fast and edit that sample really nicely. Let's bring it right to the end and right to the beginning and sort of be like discard. And then we can zoom way in on the beginning and just get that downbeat really perfect, you know? Cool. Process and discard so that it's just really even. Fantastic. And we are going to do that tiny little bit of a fade out at the end just to be absolutely sure that there's no way that we can get any clicks or pops on our sounds. Okay, fantastic. There we have it. We've got one sample sampled out of the Blocs Wave app that we can, you know, maybe use inside of our project now. Let's go ahead and save, and I'll play you guys the rest of these vocal samples that maybe we can get into the project. All right. I'm going to just decide we're going to pass on that little blip there. And then there's this thing. I was thinking when I picked it out, though, maybe we could use it someplace else. So like a, wait for it. A little pushing it maybe. What about this one? Oh. Okay, this one actually needs a little bit of explanation because what I thought we could maybe, it's like a, I don't know, some urban thing going, get it, I think. But it's got like a tape stop on it. So it's kind of going, get it, get it, get it, get it, kind of like slowing down, sort of like affected. The very first like vocal, the get it, is like really loud. But I was thinking that maybe we could chop that off and then just sort of use the as like a sort of a down filter in a section of the song where we're doing a breakdown. I know it's a little bit like hard to maybe think of like, you know, think about like in that term, in that. So I would take that really loud off of the beginning and maybe just try to use that little tape stop effect version in like a break, or maybe as like the final hit of the song we could end with that sort of a thing. If you guys like that, I'm not sure if that's sort of a some urban-y thing. Yeah, it is though. That'd work if the volume varied. Do you guys think we should sample that in? I mean, it's an easy sample. May as well just grab that real fast. And I'm not sure if it'll work, you know, until we actually get that one in the mix. So let's just sample it, and then we can find out later. You know what I mean? But I think, you know, that could, if we were able, especially if we were able to get it in like a breakdown, then also as like the last absolute note, like as a way to finish the track, that could be kind of a neat sort of a tape stoppy. Come on, cable. That could be kind of a neat, you know, maybe, let's see here. This is the get it Vox. Okay, and keep, and then we can go in and we can just edit that out real fast. So menu, sample edit, and then here's the get it Vox, and we can see, you know, that very first get it is like crazy loud compared to the other ones, so we can just start cutting those off, discard, and now we're left with a, you know, much more regular volume looking sample. I can actually bring the volume up on the whole sample. Cool. And we can zoom in to the very beginning of this one, and then we can get it, process, and discard. Cool. I think maybe this one then would be a better beginning. Yeah, I like that one. It's really lo-fi and doesn't have a lot of low frequency content remaining in the sound. I am going to do that fade out at the end. We're going to go process, and we're going to go fade out. And let's hear this one last time. And that's like got that, you know, really lo-fi thing, and it's kind of at the tempo of our track and everything. Let's just go ahead and save at this time. We may or may not be able to get that to slide in. Actually, let me just bring the volume up on that one tiny little bit before I move on, because I'm just not happy with the way it looks now. Yeah, gain change. There we go. Cool. Okay. So let's see about these. I have one more, rather, a vocal sample that we may be able to sample in. Let's find out. Okay, cool. And it sounds like this. I think this slots in key, but it certainly, you know, adds of its own vibe, you know? Sort of like a, almost like a deep house vibe. Doesn't necessarily have to go, you know, over this section of the song. Maybe we could put it, oh, I don't know. And I wouldn't go here. think that one seems to slot in all that well. Unless somebody was like super about it in the chat, I think we're probably going to pass on that one. Yeah, I would need some solid processing to work. We got audible video with that one. Is it that one to this one? Do you mean this one? Just let me know. We can try to get this in somewhere. But I was thinking we might just pass on that because I don't exactly know where it might slot in perfectly. Then we have the build it. Then what about? That's bigger. This one's the breakdown. I could get it in this section, trim it a little bit. If we like it, I could probably squeeze it in here. Have to do a little bit of, fine tuning to get it to sit between those other elements. So we're definitely getting a yes on this one then. Let me go ahead. I'm just trying to make sure that it's this one and not something else. The bed up, yes to the bed up, right? Okay, let's go ahead and we'll just grab this. If we don't end up using it, that's fine too. Let me just arm and... Okay, cool. And let's call that, we'll call this vocal. Cool. And there we go. Just keep. And now we can just go into the menu, go back to the sample edit page, and we can edit this out, a little clean version of this for us here. Let's go ahead and make a little louder, sure. And I think all we need is just that right there. And I want to zoom in on the very beginning of the sample and get that start point real nice and clean for us. Whoops. And that looks pretty good. Process and discard. Cool. And yeah, we are going to do that fade out at the end. Process and fade out. Fantastic. And let's go ahead and save at this time. So let's see here. We sampled in, was it 1 or 2 vocals? Let's bring in a track for this in the mix here. Let's bring in a new track. We're going to bring in another drum track, and we're going to go ahead and give this a name right off the bat. This is our vocal samples. Okay, cool. Vocal samples, and maybe give it a different color. Cool. And let's see here. Let's see. Where do we want to? Let's see. What did I actually grab? All right, let me turn Ableton Link off so that we're back to no MIDI sync. Cool. Let's see here. Sample edit. Oh my gosh. We got the Butt Vox. Okay. Right. I'm just gonna put these on the pads. I don't know why I'm back in this menu. That doesn't make any sense. Let's go note mode on this track. Cool. Okay, and then load. Fantastic. Rather edit. There we go. Okay, cool. Here we are. Double tap, and then let's find these vocals. Okay, so we got the butt vox. Let's get those. Yeah. Oh boy, that's way too loud. Let's bring this vocals down. We'll adjust those as we need to. Let's see here. Back to what is it? Note mode, and then I can go edit here and put. We have at least 2 samples for the vocals, right? We have that Get It Vox. Okay, I think there was still one more then that we sampled today. I can't remember all of a sudden what we would have called it, or did we not? O. We got that O Vox. Cool. Whoops, I mean the O Vox. There it is. Yeah, okay. So we've got these 3 vocal samples that we just sampled out of the Blocs Wave app. You know. So these sound like they could be the same vocalist, so it's not too big of a, of a jump for the listener. Right? That kind of works. This has a lot more effect built into it than this one does. So let's give this one some of our built-in reverb and delay. Yeah. Same thing here with all of these. I'm talking, this is very subtle amount, just to kind of get them into our own acoustic space. And we're going to go ahead and go to the mixer, and we're going to go to effects, and we are going to put a parametric EQ on this channel. And we're going to get rid of all of the low frequency content. Oh, I don't know, beneath about 160 hertz. And let's save at this time as well. What I want to do is I want to see if I can get, that sample there into like our first breakdown that we've already got in the track, or whether we're going to try to save that for the end of the track if it doesn't sort of go there. So let's see if I can actually find that break scene. And let me go ahead and also just get this iPad out of the way for now, because we are done with this for today. So let me go ahead and just get that off the desk. I still want to leave the RMX-1000 out, just on the off chance that I decide to try to resample something through there today. Let me grab a sip of coffee and check in with the chat, and then we'll see about moving forward. Oh, almost 2 hours now, and we haven't really gotten all that much done, so thanks for your patience. This is what I mean about that, for me, it gets a little slower, a little more difficult as the closer I get to finishing, Okay, let's see here. Right, the first breakdown. So we want to try to find out which one that is. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to go through a couple of these scenes here and find out like where I'm at. Yeah, I think it would be here then is what my brain is considering that first breakdown part. I really don't think it's going to slot in here, but let's find out. I'm going to go ahead and put a clip, and then, yeah, we just want to put that on the downbeat basically. So if I go like step sequence, I can just do that, right? I put the wrong one. Ooh, but now it's cool almost as well. Let's take that off and put the right one though. And let's see, actually, before, it's saying get it, and then it's kind of doing that tape stop or whatever. So if I introduce the vocal sample, like for the very first time on the downbeat, it might be, just a little bit jarring. We're like, I don't know, like a minute into the track, and all of a sudden, like, boom, here's a vocal that you've heard for the first time. It might sound a little strange. So maybe something that we could do would be to copy this sample to where it doesn't have all that extra stuff at the end. And then if we were able to use just the get it part, the very first get it, like in the scene before the break, then when we go get it, and break it down, it's already a familiar thing to the listener because we've already introduced it in the scene previously. Yeah, let's try that. What I want to do then is I want to just go ahead and copy this sample, copy it to the pad above it, where I can make a variation of that, where it's just those first notes on this pad here, where it's just to get it. Maybe a little bit less of that hiss in here as well. Come on. Yeah, so it's just that really tight get it. If we can squeeze that sample into the scene, that's playing before this break, this might be really awesome. Let's go ahead and save at this time. And let me go back to the matrix and play the scene before this breakdown. That's not going to slot in here, though. Oh, boy. Maybe. Maybe I have to end the first one right here. Yes, that does work. Hold the phone. Okay, so let me put in, I'm going to put in a clip there, and I'm just going to record and put the little get it in that space in the main lead. Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Get it. Bum, bum, bum. Right, and we won't put it in, sorry, at the end again. That way it won't play back to back twice when I put it in on the next scene here. When we put it, yeah, on that. Okay, cool. Now let's just listen to these. Actually, before we do that, let me just make sure. I want to put you guessed it, I want to put a parametric EQ on just the big tape stop version of the Get It here, and just make sure that, you know, there's no low frequency content hanging out on that sound. Okay, so now that we've actually got these clips back to back, we can hear it in context. Yeah, that totally works, but I want to do, there's some frequencies on that tape stop Get It that are a little bit like sharp and resonant. So I'm gonna, let's see here, if I, for those of you who've been watching my streams, you know that I've got Ableton over open here on the other side of the room, and that I'm using some visualizers in that to help keep, you know, some visual representation on the frequencies in the mix. Gonna just, there we go. Okay, cool. So I'm able to sort of see the frequencies here, and if I just tap this pad, I can get an idea of what frequencies are a little bit like resonant, and then I can EQ those out. Now, as soon as I talk, my voice comes through here as well. That's why I was keeping it quiet right there, just to show you guys that, in fact, there are definitely some resonant peaks in that sound that I would like to try and tame. So I'm going to be quiet again and not speak for a moment so I can get those numbers, and then we're going to EQ this on the force. Need to put another EQ on here real quick, so I can just tap another frequency. You've only got so many bands on these EQs, you know? All right. 1.6. again, for those of you who are, maybe new to watching me work this way, I don't divide up my sessions into like some people do. That's why I'm saying this, is that I don't divide my sessions into like the creativity part and then later on down the road the mixing and the mastering part. I try to do all of these things as one big journey. And if you don't work that way, that's absolutely fine. A lot of people find that, they just put the pieces together and they try to ride that creative spark and find the things that work, and then they'll try to, polish that stuff up later. But from experience, I often find, you can't polish a turd, and if something is not right from the beginning, it often, if I put something in, like if I build this house of a track on an unstable foundation, by the time we get to the roof and the attic, they're going to be off a few degrees from the foundation. You know what I mean? And then we end up with a house that looks a little wonky. So like I really want to get all of the elements like where I want them as we're going. And that's why I take the time to like EQ these frequencies along the way and stuff like that. I don't just go, hey, that sounds good, let's move on, and like hope I'll remember to get back to it later. Like if something's, letting me know that it needs to be taken care of, I fix it now. I don't fix it later in the mix. That's just how I work. And let's go ahead and save at this time. All right. Let's see here. So let me hear the scene, our very last, actually that wasn't the last scene, that was just our break. Okay, let me hear that in context again. We're going to hear the scene before that first break. So we're going to listen for that first get it vocal sample. Do I want to put... No, it's already got a little bit of our built-in delay and reverb on it. So I want to listen for that, seeing if that's, sounding good in the mix. And then I want to listen for our, breakdown version of that in the next scene and see if that is slotting in or if I want to save that to use for later. Or wait a minute, was it? No, okay, yeah. Okay, I think that maybe these could be a little bit louder. So I'm going to go to the mixer and whoops, we're going to go over to the vocals and we're going to bring these up. This is also the first track in the Force that I've worked with this many tracks. We have a navigate feature that sort of shows us where our view is in the amount of tracks. But previously what I've done is just like load a drum sampler or something and then just keep loading lots of different sounds onto that one sampler so that I can keep everything in kind of like an 8-track grid rather than having to, navigate all over this grid to see what tracks we're working on. So when we're in this matrix view, it can get a little odd sometimes doing this, you know what I mean? And my original workflow with the Force was to make it so I never had to do that, was to only keep it in 8 tracks maximum no matter what. So this has been a really interesting project, continuing to add stuff to the side that, while I'm looking here, I can't see what's happening over there, and that definitely changes the way that we look at the session or think about the session. Okay, cool. So I want to bring the volume up on those, is what I was saying in the mixer. Actually, I think I just did that though. Why am I not hearing the get it? There should be the get it right there is the thing. Let's find out. Clip. And looks like it's not here. I might have hit an undo one too many times maybe. Let's put this in. Cool. Yeah. All right. All right, so that get it could definitely have a little bit more effect on it still because it sounds a little dry when we hear it in the mix. I'm gonna turn this way up. and see if that's like maybe too dramatic or whether that's good. Let's find out. No, that sounds better. And now we're going to listen to the slide down tape stop version. 2, 3, and... Yeah, that's sounding exactly like what I want it to sound like. What we're going to do is we're going to just remove a little tiny bit more low frequencies from that tape stop version. I'm going to bring it up to 200. And then I want to send it to more of these effects that we have in the mix. Cool. And I think we're going to not worry about that anymore in that section. We're going to call that, fitting in for now. And so let me think about this. We've got our main, our main section. We build up to the chorus. That's all sounding good in the track. Maybe I'll look at my notes again and see if there's something specific that we still want to try to do. We got the vocals from the iPad. I did write down that maybe we want to get some more variations in on the bass line. The thing with that is that the drums and the bass are really like the meat and potatoes, basically, of our groove, and they're anchoring it down. So if we change the bass line, that can have a really dramatic effect on the track. That can have a dramatic effect in a good way, or a dramatic effect in a like what just happened sort of way. So we definitely might explore another bassline variation, because in the beginning of the track, for example, we sort of don't have any bassline variations for quite some time. We go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scenes with the bassline. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 scenes rather, with the bassline not doing any changing at all. And that seems like it might be a little bit like too much. So I'm wondering if we can get in a variation on the bass line at this time. What I want to do is maybe like this is the part after our first chorus. And that break definitely needs our original bass line to keep the vibe. But then we go into this other groove here. And the synthesizers and stuff are kind of keeping that same vibe as before, but maybe this might be an opportunity for us to put in a different bass line. I think I just saved, but let's just save again, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to delete the bass line from this scene here and see if maybe we can write another bass line just for this scene, so that there's a little bit of movement happening in the bass, and it's not just the exact same bass line for the first, couple minutes of the track. Because these other parts are really... But see, I'm really doubting myself now, because we're really changing the groove when that flute is actually reinforcing the groove. I think I might be overthinking this. It's hard to tell. Let me go into that variation. Let me go back to the main bass. All right, here's what we're going to do. But maybe before that, I'll just look at these notes one more time real fast. We got that guitar hit in. Oh, okay. Where's the biggest break? Is it that one? Yeah, I think it is that one. Wait, where am I? Yeah, here at the top. Okay. What might be nice is, since we're actually doing quite a big break here, yeah, on this scene, one of the other things that I noticed when I was, kind of labeling things, is not only, was that bass line not, having any variations at all for the first little bit, but also I, really noticed that we brought in that noise crash, which sounds like this. Right? But then that pretty much happens like every 8 bars of the track, without any sort of relief. And I thought if we bring in like a crash cymbal, and then we sort of alternate during the track, going back and forth between the crash and this noise impact, that might help the listener keep interested as well. So let's do that one. That'll be potentially an easy one that we can do, because I have some go-to effects here. I think they'll be right here, which would make it really convenient if they were. They absolutely are. We've got, where was that? Dean Zildjian Crash. Cool. There it is. I just want to load a crash cymbal onto this pad so that we can kind of have a variation between that sound and like a crash, right? So if I go to the pad itself, you guessed it, I can put a parametric EQ on this pad. And so I can bring anything beneath, oh, I don't know, just up to almost 1,000 hertz on the crash. I really like it to be just the high frequency content, right? Cool, 4.4. I'm going to do a tiny bit of EQ on that as well at 4.4. Just a tiny little peak there that I think can come out a little. Nice. Okay, cool. And let's see here. Maybe we can like pan this crash to the right so it's got its own space in the stereo field and bring it down in the mix. Maybe not that much. Cool, it sounds a little bit more even. And what let's do is see if we can go ahead and put the crash in now instead of that noise burst crash, like on a couple of our patterns. Probably not on the beginning, but maybe, yeah, maybe like on, this one might be a good one to try. Let's see here, if I go to clip, fantastic, and I can just sort of zoom in here, and I can grab our first dot, which is the crash, and I can just bring that up to the Zildjian crash instead. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So let me see here. I'm gonna rename that clip so that this is the Zildjian. Spelling this wrong, I think. Zildjian crash. Cool. There we go. So that's got its own name now. And when I'm looking here, I can see that that one is the Zildjian crash. So I can grab it and we can maybe like replace something else with it, so we can get that in again. Let's do it. Let's see here. Down here, that's our chorus. That's our break. Okay, cool. That's another thing that I'd like to do, and this is a perfect time to do that. I'd like to, on the scene, like for instance here, where it like does a much bigger break, I'd like to use like a down filter instead of a crash or like an impact. So we can load something like that as well. From my go-to effects, I've got like a go-to down filter that I like to use. It sounds like this, and it's just, it's got more of a tail. It's more of a dramatic kind of impact sound for like a breakdown. Like, like we can put this in the breakdowns and it's going to sound just a little bit more clean. I'm going to put a parametric EQ on just this sound itself so that I can really carve out those low frequencies and get them, make sure there's, nothing in this sound beneath about, 800 hertz. Yeah, just that really nice, clean, top fizz per se. So now if we go back in here and if I edit this clip, I can take our, I can take our noise crash and we can put that up to the Zildjian crash. Nope, not the Zildjian crash, but we want the, yeah, this, cool. And it's gonna need to come up in volume and maybe get panned a little bit to the right. And let's go ahead and bring it up in volume a little bit. Cool, that might sound all right. Let's hear that in context. So in the break here, we just have a little bit of a dramatic change instead of our typical noise crash. Yeah, I want to give it a little more effects as well. All right, cool. So I think that's sounding all right. And we've got, let's see, we've got the, I didn't label that, and I'd like to. Yeah, so let's go ahead and label this clip. Because again, like I was saying earlier, I've gone through now and I've labeled all of these clips to be what they actually are. So it's really easy for me to kind of see what's playing on the screen. This is now our down filter. So I'm just going to label this down filter so I can see that it's different than the regular noise crash. And let's go ahead and save at this time. Whoops. And then I think what it's time to do is to hear the whole track in its entirety again and sort of see how we're doing on the transition that we've created today, actually, which was between the chorus, the second chorus rather, and the new groove that we've created. I'm going to put us back onto, what is this, a stopwatch? Cool. And let's go ahead and do it. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I appreciate you being here. All right. Hey, what's happening, Arthur? Thanks for tuning in. Shift and arrows useful. Oh, it sure is. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. I just screwed up and went twice. Let's start over. Oh, I really appreciate that tip. That's awesome. Whoops. Let's just start over real quick. Oh, come on, Dean. Sorry, guys. Cool. Right at about a minute as we're reinforcing our main lead. I'm liking the arrangement and the timing here. Keeping interest and kind of moving off into a side quest with the get it? I don't know. Like that first get it before the break was like jarring and not quite right, and I just kind of wanted to lead it, I think. Yeah. My guitar needs to come up a little. Maybe, I could be wrong. I think I flipped forward too fast on that one. Passing the 3-minute mark here as we bring in the chorus again. All right, let's go. Yes, the arrangement is working for me. So now we're into the chorus again. But we already had, this much of the arrangement put together. got an idea. So when I'm listening back, to these, trying to get my brain in context around, how the arrangement is flowing, I'm trying to listen to all the different sounds and get, any ideas along the way. I think that when we finally get into the new groove that we created today, we're using only the resampled hi-hat, the little glitchy hi-hat, the little brrrt, and I think that the rhythm of the groove sounds a little bit sparse there. As a drummer, I often tend to have my, it's a drummer first and foremost. I know I don't have any drums in here. It's been a lot of years since I've had a drum kit, but drums were my very first instrument, and I still kind of consider myself like a drummer per se. So I really tend to listen heavily to like the rhythms that are happening or changing or like not changing, for example. And I think that in this new scene, all we have is that open, the hi-hat on the and. I guess we have both hats. We have the ride. Okay. I think I want to bring the ride up then. In volume here. Yeah, I want to bring the volume up on that ride just a tiny bit. And but I want like more hi-hat basically in this section is what I want. So I think what we're gonna do is see about putting some more in via the step sequencer. I'm just going to say before I do that, in case I mess it up or something, here we are in the step sequencer. And yeah, I just want to go ahead and launch this clip and try to put in like some, like, I don't want to say ghost notes, but, some more ghost notes basically of these hi-hats. Really low volume ones. And let's find out. That's too loud still. Yeah, I like that. And so maybe, is it this that I'm hearing? Yeah, I like the way that sounds, and I'd like to put that in across the rest of the scene here. And so we can probably do that really easily if I just take a quick photo or something. And I can just sort of copy that on the rest of the pages and stuff, right? So let's see, if I go step sequence and then we go to the second set of pages, right? It's like here, 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 and then what is it, here and here? Yeah, cool. So step sequence, and we do that 2 more times. So here, 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 and dun, dun, dun. No, dun, dun, dun. Okay, cool. And one more time. And cool. Just a little bit more of a variation happening on the hi-hats here. Still, I feel like these are too loud, though. I want to, let's see here. I think I'm going to make these first 2 1 click quieter in each of these. Yep. Okay, I've now made those 2 notes just the tiniest little bit quieter in the sequence here, and we're going to go ahead and save at this time. Cool deal. So now the rhythm picks up a little bit more in that new pattern that we put in today after that second chorus. Let's see here. Let's launch the chorus, then into this pattern so I can see kind of what we want to keep, pushing for, building-wise. I just heard it. Okay, so in the new scene where we put in those toms, they're happening too often. So I'm going to go in to our tops, and we're going to get rid of some of these toms from happening quite as often is the thing. Here's a bonus tom. Yeah, I think I want to take out like the first ones of each part here, so, and just leave it as more of a turnaround. So let's go delete, and then there's one more note up here, or is there not? Yeah, there is, right? Now it's the fill snare and the bonus tom. Yeah, there we go. So it's that one there, and delete, and then we have the little roll here, but then the second time through, it's that same thing. I want to delete it the very first time and just leave it on the outro, and it's down here. Yeah, there it is at the bottom. Cool. And delete. Now, let's see here. And we rest. Yeah. And here comes the tom fill. Yes. Okay. Cool. Better. Yeah. More space. Better. All right. And let's see. I'm hearing that we have the riser in here, and I'm taking riser number 2. We haven't used that for some time, so that's okay that we've got that in here still. I wonder if we want to add any more elements to this scene before we move forward. Let's find out. The volume of my flute. It's way down in the mix here. That's really weird. Is the synth flute just too quiet in the mix now? No, it's really loud there. I would guess that I've got some sort of an automation problem happening with that synth flute because it's really loud and the scene above it. What happens if I, just out of curiosity, what happens if I bring this down and put it here? Is it still too quiet? We don't want to put it there, but it's not too quiet. All right, no worries. We've got this virus arc. What does that sound like? Okay. No, that doesn't really do anything for us in this section. I'm just trying to see if we can, bring any of the sounds that are already being used in the mix down to this new part. I think the one thing that we could still try again would be our lead our lead arpeggio sound that we bring in like once and then don't bring in again. Let's see if that, now that we've got like some more elements in this groove, if maybe this sort of starts to slot in a little bit. Might be too busy, Yeah, probably too much conflicting in the same frequency spectrum here. What we want to do is maybe keep this scene like not super busy, and if I add that other lead here, it might be a little bit overbearing. So what I think I'm going to do is copy that whole scene down to the scene underneath it, and maybe here might be an okay opportunity for us to add that sound if we were going to add it again. Let's see. And I'm also thinking if we want to like have this sound with our existing lead, Or if it might be time to get rid of this part here and to make room, you know, for the new lead. Now that we're kind of moving further along in this new groove and kind of fleshing it out a little. Let's see here. I'm gonna put in a clip and just hit record. I don't know, maybe we'll get lucky. Let me get it timed right though. There we go. Get all the clips running together at the same time. I don't really know what I would do here. Let's find out. All right. Oh, it didn't record? Because I wasn't on the right thing? Let's fix that. That was a pretty good take, though. Okay, I think I might, let's try again. Alright, let's get lucky. I keep going to the wrong note there. That's not what I want. Let's try that again. Come on. Dun, 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 dun. Not quite there yet. Not quite there yet, but very close. Come on. I like the first part. I don't like the second part though. So let's delete that second part, but leave the first part, and I'll just try again to play a second part. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. I don't know if I wanted to go that outrageous. Yeah, not quite right. Let's leave that first part again and delete the second part again and try again. So close, but not quite right. I see some stuff in the chat about whether the force is a DAW or not. In my opinion, there is no question about that. This is a DAW in a box. This is every single thing that you've got in a DAW or why you would use a DAW. You've got all of the mixing and producing tools, and you've got the arrangement tools. I don't really see how it can't be a DAW at that point. because that's exactly how we're using it. You know what I mean? We're using it exactly as a DAW at this point. I don't think that's a negative, is the thing. I know a lot of people are about the DAW-less jamming and all that kind of stuff and like computer-free workflow. This is a computer-free workflow. You're using the box, you know. It's a really powerful box. It is a DAW in a box, in my opinion. Still don't know if I want to go that high, though. I think it kind of works. Is it too much? Is it too high frequencies towards the end? Is that like pushing it, or is that okay? What do you guys think? I was just trying to see if maybe that first scene would be awesome. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, because if it was, then I could just copy it down, you know, for the arrangement, rather than fleshing on the one we're at here. I'm going to see if I can get lucky, though, and see if I can find maybe an existing scene that would be good to go into after this one here, because we still need to create some sort of an outro. Looks like we've been going for almost 3 hours today. Oh my goodness, the timestamps is going to take me, are rather going to take me quite some time. On a 3.5 hour stream, I have to watch it back, you know, in real time and decide where all the timestamps go. It takes like 5+ hours on like a 3+ hour stream to go back through and put these timestamps in. So like, you know, I'll do a 3 hour stream, but then I sit down for 5 hours and put the timestamps in. So even though these streams aren't like a full day, I put in a full day of work every Sunday when I'm doing these streams, because I'll be putting the timestamps in for hours after this still. And we've got a ways to go, and I don't really want to call it just yet. So, oh boy, those timestamps are going to take me forever. But that's all right. I'm going to see if we can find one of these existing scenes to go back to after this one here. Oh, hold the phone. That's a great break, though. I'm trying to think this through. I don't think we want to break it down again is the problem. Let me try a different scene then. That's our guitar. Let's try that. I'm going to play this scene in its entirety and go back to that scene then and see if we can get that guitar to come back in, or if that's too jarring. Might want to build it up again first. I can't tell. It's almost working. Almost. And I think I might be able to make it work, is the thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that scene with the flute underneath the scene that we just worked on. Now, I think the flute may be a little much there. So we're going to delete the flute. And then just sort of leave this groove here that we've already, you know, established from before. That puts us sort of back to our main groove after we took a little bit of a side quest. Yeah, I'm liking this. But what I'm noticing now is that I've got the exact same effect track happening 3 times in a row. It's just the noise burst crash with the 2-bar riser at the end. And I don't want to have that happening that many times in a row. So I'm going to see if I can see with riser 2, and then this is just with a 2-bar riser. So this is the riser 1. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this one down, and we're going to put that one, let's say in the, there, in the middle. Fantastic. And I think we're going to also take the crash variation and put that on. Yeah, awesome. Okay, hear this in context now. This is that lead we just put in, but we're trying to create a scene underneath it now. Yeah, and this definitely leaves, more room now. And I'm really liking a save at this point. I'm really liking just how much, melodic content we've got in this. Lots of different melodies and leads kind of coming in or out. So because we're taking that lead out that we just played, that's giving us, some space in our new groove. I'm always going to keep wondering, if we can grab that original arpeggio from way back in the track and squeeze it in. I have a feeling it's probably not going to work, but let's find out for sure. Here we go. Yeah, it doesn't. That's okay, because we are using it again. So it's not like we use that sound one time only and then never go back to it. I have a tendency to kind of do that in quite a few of the tracks that I've written over the years, introduce a sound and then never go back to it. And I really, I have a thing about that, trying really hard not to do that, but, to get those, rather than to add a new sound, to bring in an old sound that was, already in the mix again. So because we're taking it out there, though, maybe we could put in now another melody on our original lead. And so I'm just trying to think, do I want to maybe try to bring in like an existing variation on that, to keep the listener like where we were, or do I want to try to write a new lead and keep, progressing in a different direction for the outro? Let's see what happens, just out of curiosity, if we grab this variation of that original lead and just stick it on this scene. Oh, it's kind of like our refrain. Let me hear that in context. Ooh, I think this might work, actually. Am I using that correctly? I think that is like a refrain. Absolutely. Okay, I think we're going to be able to finish up this arrangement pretty quickly here, as a matter of fact, because I'm going to just basically see where we go after that scene above it. We do, and then I'm going to copy the scene, the whole scene with the guitar that we put in earlier. I'm going to copy that and put that scene in underneath the scene that we just created. So let me hear that in context now. Except that I see that I'm that's why I've labeled this stuff. I see that I'm repeating that same effects thing again, and I'd like to, have a different one here. So let's use this one and put it here instead. Yeah. Okay, so let me save, and then I just want to hear that in context. So I'm going to go quite a bit further back, because we've now added quite a few scenes to the end, and I want to make sure that we're still flowing along nicely. I really appreciate you guys hanging out for these live streams, Subachu. All right. Might like to try to bring the ride in on this chorus, so it's a little different. A a lot of times, you know, when I'm just hearing things back to try to get context, I'll hear something new, you know, and then I'll just stop and work on that and then go back to hearing it in context in a minute. There's no point in just trying to remember what I heard and want to fix later because I'll, you know, likely forget it. So what I'd like to do is this scene here. It has our glitchy hi-hat, I think, a little bit too often. And I think it might be a little bit smoother and tighter if we remove the glitchy hi-hat from happening every single time. Let me show you what I mean. Yeah. I'm not sure what's happening now, but when I hit the pads, they're like quite a bit lower in volume than they actually are in the track. That's kind of strange, isn't it? When I hear it in the track, they're really loud. I'll deal with that later. Let's see here. I got a little bit sidetracked because of the weirdness that I'm trying to think of what that is about there. It's this one here. Okay. It's that sound there. So if I just go to the clip, we can get that out of, so it's not happening every single time. It's this one here. Yeah, we're going to zoom in and we're just going to remove every other of these, shift and delete, shift and delete, so that it's just half as many of these. Yeah, cool. And shift. This is going to take a second. Almost done. Whoops, too many notes there. Whoops. Perfect. Nope, I don't like it. All right, no problem. I'm just going through with the undo button and I'm getting all of these notes put back in. All right, it was a little too busy for me at the first, you know, but then when I took them out, it was a little too empty for me. So I think we'll just leave them in and not worry about it, which is difficult for me, but we'll do it. Are we still streaming? Did I glitch out? Did the stream quit on us? Are we still live? Change the velocity. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Oh, I think I know what you mean. All right. I want to time it out again from the beginning. I know it gets really tedious, you know, the more we keep getting closer to the end. But I want to, you know, see where we're at with those new scenes. I think we got either 3 or 4 new rows of clips or scenes added today, which would be about, if we got 4, that's about another minute. So if we're up to the 4-minute mark, that would be awesome. I'm not 100% sure that we're there yet. So let's find out if we are there yet. Oh, because in the step edit screen, I left it on that. I get what you're saying. Thank you. I really appreciate that. He's absolutely right. I had the velocity and the step edit screen really on it, and I appreciate that. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I might need to sleep a week with it. That's a great suggestion, Subachu. Yeah, we added more than I realized today. All right. I think we're gonna hit 4 minutes this time. Bringing that guitar, yeah. Yeah, I like that guitar that we added today. That does sound pretty good. Yeah, I'm feeling the flow, like it's feeling natural and smooth. Second chorus, so we added 4 after this, okay? So about another minute of arrangement we've added today. Some stabs here, maybe, bum, to set off the section, you know. Yeah, this is sounding really good. Maybe want to hear like an arpeggio coming in here. This little tiny detail work now. The arrangement's pretty smooth. And we're over 4 minutes right here. So we've just cleared 4 minutes of arrangement. All right. Thanks for your help, everyone. Fantastic. Okay, I'm pretty sure what we need to do at that point is go ahead and just bring in the chorus again. Maybe like, I'm not sure if it's so simple as chorus twice the fade, you know, kind of thing. But it sure would be nice if the chorus just slotted right in there. So I'm gonna copy that, copy row 3, and paste that at the end. And let's see if we can see what that sounds like, that transition from that last scene into, you know, what I'm considering the chorus. Whoops, that's not the right one. There we go. All right, so let's see if we can get back into that chorus one more time, or if that's too much. Ooh, yeah, see, doesn't gel, that transition at all. So the only way we would be able to get this in is if I want to do like a big rest before it. Let's see. I don't know if we need the chorus again or not really. Discorbital, there you go. Yeah, it's kind of picking from multiple genres, yeah? Yeah, it seems to like feel odd to try to build it right up there. So let's go ahead and delete that. And so like if we break it down entirely, then the track kind of loses fizzle and momentum and all that stuff towards the end. So I'm not sure that that's really the way to go either. But we have been going for 3 hours today, and I'm wondering, you know, like if we want to, I'm a little bit tired from the session, and I don't know if we want to just keep grinding on this or whether I want to let's go ahead and save at this time. Did I save recently? I'm just trying to decide. Like I really feel like we need something here, and I'm trying to decide like if we want to. I don't think one before this was. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a pad sound in this section. We've already got that pad in the mix, and I think that sounds pretty cool here. Let's just do that. Maybe like F. Did I not record that? It wasn't on for recording. We can fix that and we'll record that again. All right. Does that new pad sound work there, or is it a little too busy? What do you guys think? I'm going to play the scene before this, and then we're going to go into the scene here that I've added this pad to. I just want to see if that's a little too much. No, I don't think it's too much, but what I think we need is a little bit of like a more momentum to push into it. So what we can do to create that is in the scene before it, we just need to go here into the effects, and we need to put some, we need to put some sort of like a riser on that. Currently, we've got, what do we have in here? We have a 2-bar riser, and then we have that pumping riser, which is also 2 bars. So that one we could probably slot in here for now. And I like to sort of make, the end of the note like representative of how much time that sound is actually, you know, taking. This is just that riser to help these transitions to be a little bit more, you know, ebb before the flow, you know. Pad fits, thank you, appreciate that. Pad is welcome, same as the, all right, cool. Ooh, wait a minute, that's a great idea. wondering if maybe that guitar is the tiniest bit to the virus ARP here coming in. I wonder if that's the tiniest bit too like much. And let me delete that and see. No, it takes too much away when we take that away. So I'm going to leave that in. No worries. Okay. And where could we go after that other scene? Maybe back to the high pass kick of the intro. Or is maybe the answer to build this up one more level? I don't know if we can, but let's try. I'm going to copy the scene that we just put that pad on. I'm going to copy the whole scene down one more time. And let's see if we can add maybe, like maybe instead of, breaking it down for an outro, maybe we can, build up the song for like a big dramatic finish by adding something else instead. Let's see if we can get away with that. Like we can maybe add something from our lead sound here. The polyphonic sound. So much. What about our pad resample? There's like one time where we have a different pad resample there. Are we in our new scene? No, we are playing the pad, so I will skip that. The effects, those are fine. Yeah, the synth fluid, everybody's favorite. What about arpeggio? Could we get that in again? Playing something else here. Let's find out. Maybe if we were to copy this variation down, maybe that would slot right in and we get lucky. Let's find out. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. I have a feeling that we're not really going to be able to build it up more because that's just going to get maybe too cluttered. But I'm still trying to see if maybe we can get lucky. But if we put this into the harmonized mode. Yeah, it's just too busy. All right. I often, this is what I was saying earlier, I don't want to just keep adding in, tons and tons of new sounds because that can get a little busy like we're experiencing here. Have that Vox sample. I took it out of that one, so we only left it in that one breakdown. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to need to sit with this, for another week or maybe mess around with it a little bit on my own to try to figure out exactly what I want to do for the ending. But we've done just over 3 hours today, and that's all right. I think we are going to go ahead and get ready to start wrapping it up. So if you guys got any questions in the chat, whether they be, related to what we're working on here today or just music production related in general, now would be a great time to ask those before we get ready to wrap it up. I'm pretty sure I just saved. Let's make sure I did. Cool. So we added the guitar today. We did that little bit of a resample to get some variations on the drum sounds. That was kind of cool. Yeah. All right. I wish we could get this little tiny bit, like just pushed a little bit further, but like I just don't really know exactly what I want to do. This stuff, this really, the fine detail work here at the end, like wrapping it up, like often takes a little bit of extra time and finesse, you know what I mean? Like listening to it over and over for me, you know. Um, Long, slow riser over a few bars. Yeah, more melody. Yeah, the melody's not working so much. Yeah. The thing that I'm worried about with those big dramatic risers is that like that tends to lend itself more towards like EDM and stuff. And we've already got like risers and stuff and down filters and crashes and stuff in the session. I think it's more a matter of finessing like these little sounds and the little bit of arrangement and writing at the end. But like I said, I think I'm going to need to just hear this a few more times so that I can kind of figure out how to wrap up the end. Cool. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for this week. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and making suggestions and also helping me with the box, especially original synth. Very much appreciated, you guys. All right. Yeah, I'm following you on YouTube, Supashu. Project Manolo. I'm a subscriber. All right, for sure. Cool, you guys. All right. So I guess we're going to go ahead and call it. And until next week, thanks for watching. Take care of each other, you guys. All right. And thanks again for hanging out with me on these live streams. I really appreciate it. Sweet. All right. Have a great week, everyone.